On the technology side, as far as graphics goes, a giant leap from our past projects in terms of capabilities of our renderer, the tool sets available to our artists. I mean, in the last game we did, SWAT 4, was basically, you know, here's a couple things you can do. I hope our artists are good because that's all they have. And on this game we had, you know, I knew things were different when I came into this project, and we hired a new effects artist, Stephen Alexander, who's doing an amazing job. And we hired him a couple weeks after we hired him. I found him writing his own, you know, vertex and pixel shaders, and I thought, you know, wow, this is a big change from what we had before, where artists were just sort of painting textures, and now they're actually working very, very technically, working in, you know, high dynamic range lighting, and really, you know, we have now technical artists who are pushing the programming team and driving the tool set. And with this current generation of technology, we're actually able to do a lot of this stuff because it's actually really easy to create new effects, and the hardest part is really making them fit consistently in with the rest of the pipeline. So that's been a big challenge, is to create these beautiful new graphical effects, like all the water that you'll see in the game, you know, all the beautiful lighting effects, all the dynamic shadows, and getting all of those are easy to generate on their own, but they're very difficult to make them work consistently within the rest of the game. And that's necessitated another huge effort and very careful planning and a heck of a lot of luck. I mean, we have a amazing team in Australia who are doing, you know, just focusing on the core technology that lets us build the game. So most of the guys here are actually working on, you know, building the gameplay systems on top of the core tech, but there's just a massive effort on the other side of the world devoted to just laying the foundation for this. So tools team, you know, engine team, renderer team. There's lots more. I just can't remember them all. But yeah, so there's been a lot of effort gone into the tools just to allow people to create the kinds of experiences that we're creating now. So giving the designers the ability to do complicated scripting, building this huge AI system, which just allows the player to do basically anything he wants, has been a massive challenge, and I'm sure John Abercrombie, our AI programmer, our lead AI programmer, will talk a little bit about that.
We have our own behavior system that we've used before, and we were able to bring that over from a previous project and reuse it and extend some functionality of that. And basically it allows us to, you know, encapsulate behaviors and have them be hierarchical and interrupt each other and those sorts of things. And it's called Tyrion. And because we had worked with the system before, we had a lot of experience with it, and we could, you know, we knew, we had knowledge of how to use it well. And it allowed both us and the other programmers who had used it before to really do a lot more than we had, and prototype quicker and get things done faster than had we not had it, had we used stock Unreal. I think there's two big things for me that I spent time on. One was the interactions between the big daddies and little sisters, and we spent a lot of time like prototyping different behaviors and deciding which ones to go further with. And that was a lot of more time was spent doing that up front than later on. And the other thing is getting the splicers' attack behaviors correct, figuring out how they were going to fight to start with, and then, you know, building upon that and coming up with ideas that they could do things to make them more interesting. And certainly, I think those two would be the biggest things that I worked on.
On the animation side of things, we actually haven't taken what Unreal 3 provides. We're built on top of Havoc's animation SDK, which provides the groundwork for doing things like inverse kinematics and animation blending, animation playback, all sorts of good things.